Do some people just not feel anything when they look at art?
Nothing. I'm feeling nothing.
Hello, everybody. Oh, thank you. I found a button. Sorry. It's a funny button. Well, actually, that's not the funny button. There's a funny button, mate. Today we're going to talk about the post which was called "What We Have Here is Failure.
Failure?
To Feel." And it was inspired by a comment that I got, which made me think, do some people just not feel anything when they look at art?
Except the feeling that this bullshit was absurd.
Which made me also expand that further into being, the arts.
When people do this, I don't really know what that means.
Although I don't know why I'm doing that. The arts, all-encompassing music, film, theatre. Sometimes I like to shake things up by trying to actually write something funny.
Knock, knock.
Whether I succeed, I think, is a matter of opinion, but I sometimes think to myself, Janine, you should really try to get something in McSweeney's Internet Tendencies. And then I remember how lazy I am and I don't do it.
To obtain a special dialing wand, please mash the keypad with your palm now.
The basic structure is someone calling a customer service hotline or calling a business about a classified ad they saw.
Here's a little song I wrote.
That's the structure. Another comedy attempt. Let's call them attempts. At one point in the story, I say, whoa, hold your whistle jacket there, champ. If you're curious at all about whistle jacket.
This is a portrait.
I was trying to relate, obviously it's Hold Your Horses, and I was trying to relate that to a famous art horse. For example, there is Whistle Jacket, famous racing horse. Other famous horses in art, there's a painting of Lady Godiva on a Gigi. There's also the one everyone will probably bring up, which is Napoleon on that nag. But there's a whole list of famous horses. I just really liked Whistle Jacket, who seems to be one of the most famous. God, I'm an idiot. So that's basically how the post came together. But what's it actually about? I'm just really fascinated to think that some people don't feel anything when they look at art.
I don't feel anything.
Because, if anything, I perhaps feel a little too much. And two of the examples in this fictitious call about having the feelings removed are actual real things that happened to me. Story time. I bet you're excited. I once went to a gallery. My friend Vanessa was in town in New York. And we went to, did the usual haunts, the MoMAs, the Guggenheims, the Met. And then we were at, I can't remember what gallery it was. There was a Cy Twombly section.
I see you look at this space
of his pencil sketching things. I was maybe a little arted out by that time of the day. We'd seen a lot of art, had a lot of colours and textures and sculptures shoved into our eye holes. So we might have been, a little over it. This is how I remember it. And it's probably amplified by years of passing, like it would have been 2006 maybe. I remember walking along, looking at, pencil sketch, and then coming to one in a frame. It might not have even looked like this, but this is how I remember it. It looked like he had put a pencil on a piece of paper and just gone, frame it, hang it. The audacity. I saw that thing and I just lost it. I was ropeable.
Do you know what that is?
Great.
That's just fucking great!
But not saying anything. Kept the lid on. But I found Vanessa and I said, we got to go. We got to leave right now. I don't remember if I saved my little rage rant until we got out on the street. I might have started in the lobby. I don't know. But I just remember getting out on the street and just letting it all out about why I was so mad. No, actually not why I was so mad, just the fact that I was mad, because I don't think I knew why. Modern day Janine, she would have analysed it. She would have stayed upstairs looking at that thing saying, I am so angry right now. Why? Why am I angry? I would say probably a bit jealous. Why didn't I think of that? The audacity, the bombacity. Just putting that in a frame.
When you pass it every day, when you pass it, you think of his nerve.
There's also, I think, when you see stuff like that where you're like, what is this? Is this art? Anyone could do this. I could do this. You should. If you ever find yourself saying, I could do this, you should go try. Anyone that says that about sports as well, oh, I can play better than that guy. Could you? Could you really? I don't think you can. Second story relates to being on the subway reading, just having like that visceral reaction to what you're reading. The book, I can tell you, was the C-Mac Daddies, Cormac McCarthy's.
I think it's October.
It was the section where they found sort of like this underground, not bunker, but like a storage of food, like a cache of food. It was a moment that was like filled with kind of dread and anxiety and like, oh God, something bad's going to happen. What's in this hole? And then there's this moment where I'm deep in this experience of reading this paragraph, this page, this chapter, and I suddenly pull myself out of it and being suddenly like hyper aware of the look that was on my face, which must have been like a...
Are you alright?
I was all tensed up and the shoulders tight and just like, oh, this book. And I decided then and there that I could no longer read that book on the subway. I went home and finished it that night. I actually have a third experience. Okay, so the first one is like very negative experience, but it's still like a reaction. The second one, it sounds like it's a negative reaction, but it's very positive. Like, although I was very anxious, I loved it. I loved that book. I love the way he writes. He is in the goat herd of writers. I think there are multiple goats, so let's just leave it at that. The year is 2003. I am a new arrival in New York. Don't have a job yet. I don't really know what I'm doing. Just a new immigrant, eyes wide, heart huge. At the time, the new MoMA building was being built, and they had a temporary place out in Queens. I went out to Queens to look at the Matisse Picasso exhibit that was on at the time. And I went through that. That was great. And then I was going through... They'd had some of the permanent collection out there. So, you know, like Dali's Lobster Phone. There was some Warhols. But time running out. I got to get out. Sometimes when I've had a lot of art in a day, I'll start moving through it real quick. Like,
Whoa!
and I'm moving through. And on the way out, it funneled you into sort of, I won't call it a corridor because wider than a corridor, art on both sides. And I'm just powering through right now.
Yep, art.
And there was like this flash of blue on my right. And I turn and look and stop in my tracks. Like, it has that kind of effect on me where I just like, ugh. And I have seen this painting many times in my life, in books. Many times. Like, oh yeah. And that painting was, ladies and gentlemen,
Paint your palette blue and grey.
The Starry Night by Mr. Vincent van Gogh. Oh, Van Gogh. That painting, it is alive. There's something about the blues in it, the swirl. It's just the most incredible painting I've ever seen in my life. And well worth the MoMA membership. I used to visit it once or twice every year. Whenever anyone came to town, I'd be like, let's go to the MoMA. Because it's like, gotta visit my boy. Visit the old Van Gogh. Where am I going with all this? Point is, I obviously feel art too much. Or just the right amount, I guess. It depends on how you look at it. And to think that some people don't feel anything.
They don't have any feelings, ever.
It's fascinating to me. I got a DM from a friend of mine after I posted that question, do some people just not feel art? And he had said, for most of my life and to a lesser but still non-zero degree today, I described art as a different colour than the wall. That to me... But not being one to make these about me always asking questions or bringing up more questions, it does bring up more questions because some people feel the arts, right? That is the thing that speaks to them. They connect to it directly, plug right in. Do other people, is art something else for them? Like I was thinking about the guy that really hated my Mark Maggiori, Mesa of the Mind thing. And I kind of did a little Twitter stalking. He was really into crypto. And I'm like, is crypto his art? Art? Like you hear people that are math whizzes, like saying that equations and mathematics is beautiful. Is that their art? Some people, rugby union is described as the beautiful game. Sports can be like a ballet. Is that their art? Is it just a matter of reframing what beauty is? Is anything that connects to you art, I guess? Be curious what you think. Do you connect with art? What sort of art do you love? What sort of art can you not connect with? Some people don't like opera. Some people get very hot about opera. People are weird. Not the opera lovers, I'm just saying in general. People are strange. I can't work them out. And with that, I shall say farewell. Love what you love. I'll see you next week. Psych! I'm back. I feel like I need to apologise for the colour correction on that video. That was the second ever video I ever made, and I was wrestling with my Apple iPhone and Premiere and not realising that you needed to turn off HD. Turn off HD, that fixes the problem. And change the footage to something 709, I can't quite remember what it is. Anyway, I am really curious about if you feel art. So, what does art do to you? Let me know in the comments. Meantime, if you want to listen to me read the post that this was about, it's somewhere here. Probably there. In the meantime, like, subscribe. I need more subscribers. That'd be cool. This was the second video I made. There's now 30, so I've gotten better at editing, believe me. That's something to look forward to, isn't it? Hit the bell for notifications so that you never miss one of those 30. There'll be way more by then. And I'll see you next week.